The beer glass exploded on the floor, and the iron lantern went dead quiet. "You think you're special?" Rex Viper Dalton's voice sliced the silence as his hand closed on the collar of the small woman wiping tables. Whiskey on his breath. Menace in his eyes. Simple math. "Sweetheart, this bar pays protection. Or this bar burns. Pick." 10 jackets from the Viper Brotherhood rose in unison, chairs scraping, forming a loose ring around her. "Where are you watching from, the US, Europe, or maybe Australia? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you enjoy these military stories, don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next mission." She was maybe 5'4" in beat-up sneakers, white server shirt hanging loose, dark hair in a no-nonsense ponytail that made her look younger than 30. On paper, ordinary. In posture, unreadable. She kept her eyes lowered, her hands steady on the rag, as if the shattered glass were just another mess to clean. For 20 minutes, the fuse had been burning. The Brotherhood had rolled in just after 8, their Harleys announcing themselves up the highway that cuts through Blackstone County, Arizona, past Fort Ravenwood. They weren't new to these parts. Word had traveled: accidents, fires, owners who changed their minds after a chat. Behind the bar, Kyle Mason, 25, too brave for his own good, went pale the second he saw the fanged emblem on their vests. "That's them." He breathed toward the server. She didn't look up. She was folding napkins into perfect triangles, edges aligned like parade ranks. Kyle tried to laugh. "You fold those like boot camp or something?" She gave no answer, just a faint, dry half-smile. Viper made his entrance like he owned the deed. 6'3", arms loose, a predator's stroll. The scorpion in Viper ink curled up his neck and disappeared under leather. His crew drifted with intent, covering exits, taking angles, establishing sight lines. It looked casual. It wasn't. "Evening, folks," he announced, a counterfeit warmth undercut by something sharper. Just drinks and a friendly business talk, regulars, mine workers, travelers, a couple of locals with unit pins shifted uneasily. In the corner, Deputy Sheriff Grant Doyle cupped a coffee, civilian clothes, veteran's posture. His eyes were already mapping the room. The first spark came quiet. A wiry biker with ruin for teeth swatted the server's backside as she passed. She slipped just out of reach, fluid as if by accident, and kept taking orders like nothing had happened. Kyle started to move. She stopped him with the smallest shake of her head. Pitchers landed. Cash changed hands. The volume climbed. And then Viper's attention settled on her like weight. "Hey, server girl," he called. "Where's the owner? We've got business. Out of town," she said softly. Eyes on the tabletop. "I'm just covering." "Then you'll relay the message." He stood, his shadow swallowing the space between them. "The Viper Brotherhood offers protection. $5,000 a month ensures nothing unfortunate happens to this fine establishment." She kept wiping the already clean wood, as if polishing away the threat. "I'll let him know you stopped by." The mask slipped. The smile went flat. "No, you don't get it," Viper said, flicking a lighter open, closed, open. "This isn't optional. Around here, accidents happen to the unprotected." The ring tightened. The jukebox track ended, leaving the silence sharper. Maya Torres, no one in the room knew her name, yet cataloged everything without moving the limping tough by the jukebox. The pair at the pool table, too busy posturing to notice Doyle adjusting his chair. The gap inside Viper's reactionary space. She set the rag down. Slow. Deliberate. Viper stepped in. Too close, the leather of his vest creaking, his fingers curled. Reaching for her collar. The room leaned forward as one. She lifted her chin a fraction, just enough for combat eyes to see the switch flip. Doyle's veteran gaze caught it. The fight was coming. The lighter snapped open with a sharp click that cut through the tavern like a gunshot. Rex Viper Dalton leaned closer, flame dancing in his palm, his grin wide and venomous. "You don't seem to understand." "Sweetheart," he said. voice low and oily. "This isn't a friendly call. This is business. And around here, accidents happen." He let the flame die and snapped the lid shut. The metallic sound echoing in the iron lantern. Electrical fires, gas leaks, tragic stuff. Each word was a threat dressed as small talk. Maya Torres didn't flinch. She simply placed a fresh glass on the table she'd already cleaned 3 times and said quietly, "I can't decide for Mr. Murphy. I just serve drinks." The men shifted wider, boots scuffing the floorboards in a drunken-looking stagger. To most, it seemed like swagger. To Maya, it was formation and encirclement riddled with flaws. The biker by the jukebox leaned too hard on a bad knee. 2 more at the pool table were busy posturing, not watching exits. And Viper himself had stepped inside her reactionary gap, close enough that one sharp move could end the conversation permanently. Her hand found the cool metal under her shirt, a worn dog tag. Edges smoothed by sweat and sand. The name etched there wasn't just history. It was warning. A Marine's name. Multiple deployments. Missions that had marked her body and mind. The kind that never really left. She'd locked the medals away, but the tag still pressed warm against her chest, whispering that no Marine truly retires. She had come to Blackstone County searching for peace, a quiet life where the only battles were spilled drinks and broken stools. But trouble finds Marines the way flame finds dry brush, always hungry, always spreading. Maya's other hand brushed the side pocket of her apron where a Ravencom device rested. Its casing built for battlefields. She'd sworn never to touch it again. Still, her thumb hovered, the option alive. "Look," Viper said, irritation creeping in. "I'm giving you a chance. Convince your boss to play ball, and maybe I'll throw you something extra. What do you make here? Minimum wage and tips. I could do better." His eyes searched her face for fear. Instead, he found calm. Unsettling calm. "Thank you," Maya said, finally meeting his gaze, voice steady as stone. "But I'm fine where I am." The refusal lit his fuse. His meaty hand clamped around her upper arm, fingers digging hard enough to bruise. The tavern shifted. Every eye turned toward them. "That's enough," came a voice like gravel and authority. Deputy Sheriff Grant Doyle rose from his booth, shoulders squared, gaze locked on Viper. 2 tours overseas still echoed in his stance. "Take your hand off the lady." Viper barked a laugh without loosening his grip. "What are you gonna do, old man? You're off duty, out of your jurisdiction, outnumbered 10 to 1. Sit down before you get hurt." But Doyle didn't sit, and in the corners of the room, other patrons shifted 5 men with unit pins, tattoos, or the unmistakable bearing of combat veterans. They had seen this dance before. The air grew heavy. Kyle Mason's hands tightened on the baseball bat behind the counter, but his eyes flicked to Maya. Something in the way she stood weight-balanced. Eyes scanning angles didn't look like any server he'd known. "Grant," Maya said softly, surprising everyone by using his first name. "It's all right. These gentlemen were just leaving." Her voice was calm, but her glance told Doyle, "Stay sharp." And that was when Viper made the mistake that would cost him dearly. He yanked her closer, fist twisting in her collar. "You don't tell us when we leave. We decide that. And right now, we teach this bar a lesson about respect." Chairs scraped across the floor as more patrons rose. The tension snapped like a drawn bowstring. "You know your problem," Viper hissed, face inches from hers. "You think you're better than us. Maybe I need to show you where you belong." His free hand bunched her shirt, cotton tearing under his grip. To most, Maya looked like a trapped waitress about to crumble. But Doyle saw it, the subtle shift of her weight, the angle of her shoulders, the preparation of a warrior. The sound ripped louder than glass breaking, fabric tearing, cotton surrendering under brute force, and in that instant, everything changed. Viper yanked her forward, the seam of her shirt splitting from collar to chest. Maya stumbled back, frame small against his bulk. the blouse hanging in tatters. But she didn't cry out. She didn't fight. Instead, the room itself seemed to inhale because what that torn fabric revealed wasn't weakness. It was truth. Across the black tank top stretched over her shoulders was a scorpion coiled around a blade, the insignia of the Shadow Raiders, one of Joint Command's most secretive units. The ink was flawless, each mark a permanent proof that she had belonged where few dared to tread. And just above it, block letters inked deep, Gunnery Sergeant M. Torres. Not decoration, not vanity. A mark earned, not bought. Around it were scars, stories etched in flesh. A puckered bullet wound near her shoulder. A jagged trail of shrapnel along her ribs. Each line a silent record that survival had never come cheap. The jukebox clicked silent, as though even the machine recognized this was no bar fight. The Brotherhood froze, confidence draining like spilled whiskey. Viper stood rigid, fist still clutching fabric, eyes wide. Shadow Raiders. Deputy Sheriff Doyle breathed, awe threading his voice. Holy hell. Maya hadn't raised her fists. She hadn't moved a muscle. Yet something in her presence shifted, shoulders squared. Chin lifted. Eyes steady with a calm no civilian could fake. The room finally saw who had been standing among them all along. Mr. Dalton, she said evenly, using his real name. You owe me an apology for destroying my property. The atmosphere flipped. Rex Viper Dalton's face shifted confusion, recognition, disbelief, then the slow horror of realization. The torn blouse slipped from his grip and fluttered to the floor like a surrender flag. His voice cracked. Menace gone. How do you know my name? Maya didn't answer right away. She turned, deliberately, letting every eye take in the scars across her back. Phones rose, cameras capturing what everyone knew was history. Rex Dalton. She said flat, almost clinical. Thrown out of the Corps, built the Brotherhood on stolen gear. Everyone in Blackstone knows the fires and assaults trace back to you. She let silence weigh the charges. And I make it my business to know who threatens my ground. Dalton started your ground but stopped. The weight of her words hit him like a hammer. This wasn't a server standing here. This was a warrior drawing a line. From the corner booth, a chair scraped back. A gray-haired man rose slowly. Deliberate, presence filling the room. For months Maya had poured him coffee on Tuesdays. Never guessing. Recognition flickered across his face. Gunny Torres, he said, voice carrying command even in civilian clothes. Shadow Raiders. I remember you. Operation Iron Dagger. Kargath Province. 2011. Maya's body reacted before her mind could, shoulders straightening. Heels clicking close. Instinct saluting instinct. Yes, sir, she replied softly. Not to Dalton, not to the room. To him, Colonel Arthur Kane, retired, Medal of Valor recipient, and the man who had just pulled her past into the present. The tavern froze. Every eye locked on her. She wasn't prey. She was the predator they had misjudged. Colonel Kane's words still hung in the air. Gunny Torres, Shadow Raiders. Maya's throat tightened. She hadn't heard her rank spoken aloud in years. You held that schoolhouse, Kane recalled, hours, low on ammo, until the evac birds broke through. Her gaze dropped. I had help. Sir, Martinez, O'Connor, they didn't make it. From the bar. Clara Nguyen, long-time regular. Once a corpsman, stood quietly. I saw you after Raven Dagger. Burned, broken. Doctors said you'd never walk. Maya's eyes flickered. Doctors can be wrong. The Brotherhood began edging back, their circle unraveling. Their escape halted as 5 patrons blocked the door, combat stances unmistakable. One bared a tattoo of Sergeant Stripes on his forearm. Leaving so soon, he asked, You forgot something. An apology. Dalton flushed, caught between pride and fear. We didn't know, he stammered. Didn't know what. Maya stepped closer. He stepped back. That I bled for this country, that dignity's not optional, or that I could break you without raising a fist. Her hand brushed the trauma kit beneath her apron. Bandages, gauze, vials, she still carried them. Always ready, always prepared. All of the above, Dalton muttered, voice small. Deputy Sheriff Doyle stepped forward. Hand near his phone. Maya Torres. Want to press charges? You've got witnesses for assault, property damage, intimidation. Maya's eyes stayed on Dalton. She shook her head. No charges. They're leaving, and they won't be back. Will you, Mr. Dalton? Dalton's head bobbed. No, ma'am, we won't be back. Iron Lantern's off limits, completely, and the other businesses will rethink our plans. He stammered. Dalton faltered. His knees hit wood not from her command, but from pressure breaking pride. His men stared, horrified, as their leader shrank before her. You assaulted me, destroyed my property, threatened everyone here, Maya said evenly. In other places I've served. You'd already be gone, but here we do it different. You will apologize, properly. Then you will leave, and you will spread the word Blackstone County is under protection. Dalton's apology stumbled out, broken but real. He bowed low before scrambling to the door. His men followed like beaten dogs. At the threshold he turned. Desperate, why hide it? Why act like just a server? Maya's expression softened, words cutting sharper than steel. Because real warriors don't advertise, strength is carried quietly. I came here for peace, to serve coffee, wipe tables, and remember normal. Her eyes hardened. Tonight, you stole that choice. The Brotherhood left without swagger, engines growling into the night, stripped of menace, through the tavern windows. Patrons watched them vanish. All knew they'd never return. The silence that followed was reverent. Colonel Kane broke it. Gunny, with your record, you could be anywhere. Why here? Maya bent, folded her torn blouse with care, with respect. Sir, I've been the tip of the spear. First in, last out, a chest full of medals, a box of nightmares. I wanted a place where nobody knew my name. She pulled on a fresh shirt. Voice low. But maybe peace isn't hiding. Maybe it's standing your ground. For the first time that night, Maya smiled small. Fragile. I never wanted to be Gunnery Sergeant Torres. She said, I just wanted to be Maya, the woman who keeps your coffee hot. From the back, a voice called, but you're a hero. Her smile faded. No. Martinez and O'Connor were heroes. I'm just the one stubborn enough to survive. Colonel Kane stepped forward. Gunny, at Kargath, dozens lived because of you. Their sacrifice wasn't for nothing, Maya whispered. One mother named her newborn after me, born on the evac bird. The room fell silent. Sacred. She had hidden for years. Tonight, truth stood in the open, a soldier forged in fire. Now choosing peace. Jake swallowed hard. So, what now? You can't stay invisible. Maya gathered empty glasses. Then I'll be visible. But on my terms. The tavern slowly returned to motion. Veterans traded buried stories. Shoulders lifted. The jukebox played. But the tone had shifted. Deputy Sheriff Doyle approached, guilt in his voice. Maya, I should have stepped in sooner. I saw the way you moved, the way you scanned. I should have known. She shook her head. You tried to de-escalate. That's what you were supposed to do. Army, right Iraq. He nodded. 2 tours. Just a grunt. Every soldier is special. Deputy, don't diminish your service. Later, a young voice trembled. Private Emma Blake. Just back from Afghanistan. How do you keep going? Maya's gaze steadied on her. You don't go back. That person is gone. You build someone new and you find a new mission. Mine is here, serving, giving vets a place where no one has to explain. Showing civilians we're not broken, just different. When Jake asked if she regretted losing her cover, Maya stacked chairs with precision. No, I hid for 3 years, but Marines don't abandon their posts. This is my post now. Word spread. By morning, veterans filled the Iron Lantern. Maya didn't boast. She brewed coffee, tied her apron, listened more than she spoke. The tavern changed not because of stories told, but because one Marine finally stopped hiding. Weeks later, a package arrived, a Purple Heart polished to shine. A note read, "Gunny, you left this at Raven Dagger. Thought you'd want it back. Corman and Nguyen." She hung it on the wall beside a photo of Martinez and O'Connor. Jake murmured, "I want to enlist." "Because of you." Her reply was sharp. "Do it for you, not for me. The Corps takes everything. Be sure you're ready." He hesitated. "Were you?" Her fingers brushed her dog tags. "Every damn day. And I do it again. But that's me. You need your own answer." Maya caught her reflection in the bar mirror. Not the broken veteran who hid. Not the young recruit. Someone new, tempered in fire, steadied in peace. She poured coffee, wiped tables, stood watch, not with a rifle, with a coffee pot. Still serving, still protecting. Semper Fidelis.